You know when it's tight, you feel it pulling the board in. Get the level on it. Beautiful. Now once that gear dries in there, 24 hours that'll be solid. Same again, get the level on it. Beautiful. Now, if I am correct on Mundo, this should just slot in. Like that. Can't make it any easier than that, can I? Then all we need to do is put some screws in there. Screws in there. That's it's running. People can get behind there. I can get my hand behind there. Look at how fat they are. Get a little roller straight behind there. Bish bash bosh. Job's done. So once you've drained down, this one I'm draining down because I'm connecting to in. Draw a pencil mark on that there. Get your level behind it, centre of it. Draw centre mark. Now what we could have done, we could have just come straight through the floor and straight into this rod, but you're going to have a long pipe into it. So instead of doing that, I'm going to use the corner bracket. I'm going to cut the wall out, I'm going to put my pipe in, pipe the rod up, and then all I'm going to do is one strike it. Bish bash bosh, no pipe work, beautiful. So to do that, I'm cutting my level out, line what I've done down there. I've done it wide because when you do it too small, you can't get a nail on clip on it. Then you end up damaging all the wall. Just cut a little bit bigger. Makes life easier. Like so. Enough room for my pipe to go in the wall there. Come straight into my valve. Knock the joist knock it out like that. So the reason why I use my wood chisel, the nizzle, because I don't use it as a wood chisel, I use it as a proper chisel. That is wide enough for my pipe, going centre of it. So I know I've chiseled it in enough, so when I put my pipe in there, there's going to be enough clearance to get enough gear in to smooth that wall back up, and you'll never know we've done it. So, there always is a method in my madness. Take your time, do it right. Just putting 2 elbows in, I'm going to elbow that down, then I'm going to swap to plastic underneath floor. On my reels, what I do is, I have one of them lead free and one of them soldered. So the soldered ones I always use for central heating. The lead free one I always use for cold water and hot. So I have them on the same reel. So if you see me using a reel like this, don't mean that I'm using lead. It might mean that I'm using lead free, because there's 2 different reels. It's so I don't have to mess about. And I don't really like using the lead free on central heating because it don't run round as nice and it's not as quick. So if you're doing a load of central heating stuff, it's a lot quicker to use the lead. And it's not illegal to use the lead on central heating. Put it on. Look at that, it's just beautiful. That's the work of that. It's just like a work of art. Is there an olive in there? Yes. Get that in there, push that back. ID. And get that one in. Nice. Make sure that pipe's in nicely to where you want it. Make sure it's straight. Beautiful. Plenty of room there for this gear to go back on. Pipe in the rad, you'll never know. Now underneath, plastic, bish bash bosh, job done. Repeat for the other side. Same again, plastic. Use that one for that, and this one for this. That's it. Lovely. Lovely. Now some people say, why don't you use chrome? Because I don't use chrome because chrome's a nightmare to solder. You can't just solder chrome. So all we do is we've got some chrome caps. We put chrome around it, look beautiful. You'll never have an issue with it, and it'll be bang on. If someone tries to use chrome and try to use push fit on chrome, it'll pop off. It might last till it builds up in pressure, and then the fitting will just go whoosh, come off. You have to use compression with them, like this. See how I've done this here? Let me show you. Let me show you. Like that. See how I've used chrome? Just looks a dog. In fact, it looks worse than a dog. Just that, at least the dog's cute. When the shower goes in, the waste pipe's here. And bang on these pipes. Now, what we want is trouble free. So the heating pipes are linked into that bedroom in there. Linked into this passage in here, and then linked for this radiator here. So obviously you don't want any hassle with a waste pipe. So I'm going to use plastic. I'm just going to bring it down here, underneath, and loop it back round and tee them all here. Cut that pipe, drop it down, and I'm going to tee all the pipe work in here, and then go up here, drill it all through the joist there, back onto that. So it's not affecting us. The central heating pipe's not on as waste pipe, and the central heating pipe's not on as waste trap, and it's nowhere near it because we don't want it warm, getting warm and cold, warm and cold. So if possible, it's not always possible, if possible, try to do your best to loop it round. Don't use, the idea of plastic is you don't want to be using tons of fittings. You want to be using plastic with hardly any fittings. So it doesn't matter if it loops round. Just as long as doesn't matter if it loops round like that without any elbows. That's what you want. You want it looping round like that without the least amount of fittings as possible. What you don't want to do, you don't want to bend it too tight and kink it. That's what you don't want to do. But bending it like that, it's beautiful. That's what it's for. Use it to your advantage, otherwise it's pointless using it. If you're just banging a load of fittings on it, you might as well do it in copper. So I've cut them off, reconnected it. What you got to think is you don't want to be cutting loads of any more joists out. So I'm not touching any joists. I've drilled through the centre of the hole, and then I've looped my pipe round because there's a load of electrics underneath this ceiling. And whoever's wired it needs looking at, to be honest. There's about 50 million spotlights and they're all connected on just connector blocks, not even taped up. So they all need looking at and addressing. So I've looped all my fittings round, brought them round so they're away from my trap, away from the waste, away from all the lights, away from all the joists that have been cut out. And I've just looped them. So I've just looped them round. So it might not look pretty, but for the situation, it's the best scenario for us to do. We've took it round, looped it round, got it in. So now, all I need to do is fill the rad up and fill the system up, test it, and then we're good to go. Heating's on now, it's all live. What I like to do is just clean out where we've been. All that plasterboard underneath there, it's actually gone that. But the only way to replace that is to take that ceiling down downstairs. And I don't want to do that. Right, we'll patch them up like that. Patch them in like that. Underneath this shower, I'm going to be reboarding it. So I've patched it up nicely. I'm going to make sure all these boards are screwed. Make sure all these boards are screwed to the floor properly, and then I'm going to screw my board. I'm going to use a wet board on the floor, and then I'm going to use that for my tray. Right, just